Let's start with our math workshops, get those out of the way, get our notes done so you can get to work on your checkpoint and your already assigned homework. What can I do on number 5? Say what now? Okay, so, but if it was, we know for sure there'd be a 7 and an A for 7a squared. Like, I'm positive about that, and I know there'd be plus signs because everybody's plus. So then we could guess some things down here, but I agree there are a lot of options. We could do 1 and 28, 2 and 14, 4 and 7. Like, there are a lot of options. And going through all those options can be a pain, but sadly, one of those options is correct. Is it 4 and 7? Gilberto, 4 first and then 7 second? I'm guessing they checked and checked and checked because I seriously had to check like 3 different ones first period before I finally got it right. So I'm impressed that y'all got this. So 7a squared plus 49a plus 4a plus 28. Well, he's correct because when I combine 49 and 4, I really do get 53. So he has guessed correctly. I'm going to give him 2 points, and I'm going to give 2 1 point. Yay, that was great. I really thought we were going to be on that one for most of the class period, so that makes me happy, because goodness. Okay, number 6, what should we do? Q squared minus 3q plus 12. Let's see if Ellie is correct. 3pq times p squared would be 3p to the 3rd q. Yep. 3pq times negative 3q would be negative 9pq squared. Yep. 3pq times 12 would be 36pq. Yep. She is completely correct. She can have her point. And then let's go ahead and do number 7. Huh.
Then you have to do x plus 2 and then
Oh my goodness, every group can have a point. I'm laughing for a reason, so I'm going to write what you said, and then we're going to talk about how y'all are so deep sometimes. Too deep.
Can we have done x plus 2 and x plus 4?
Okay, so I can only one thing at a time. So everyone's answers were related to grouping, right? You grouped it. You pulled out an x and got x plus 4. You pulled out a 2 and got x plus 4. So that's how you ended up with x plus 2, x plus 4? Is that how you ended up with the answer you ended up with? Okay. Okay. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that, and that is the correct answer. However, you realize there was a much easier way, right? We could have combined our like terms, and that's why 2 is getting a point. It could have been x squared plus 6x plus 8. Now it's easy factor. 4 plus 2 adds to 6. 4 times 2 goes to 8. Look, we got the same answers, but Paige and I combined like terms because we noticed it would work. Now, you rocked it, and it worked out this time, but man, should have been nice if we had noticed to combine those like terms. Although I'm with you, every time I see 4, I automatically am like, let's group. Let's group. I don't know why, but let's group. Okay. Let's go to your notes from yesterday. We were adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. So adding was fine. Subtracting was fine. The only thing that's changed in life is this notation, this function notation. Multiplying was fine, and dividing was fine, except we have to think through things. There are some numbers that we cannot use in our answer in division because we can't have that denominator equal to 0. So what we do if we want to find this number that we can't have, we actually just set the denominator equal to 0 and solve, and you'll figure out the number. So if you can see it in your head, great. If not, solve and figure out this. I keep jokingly calling it a no-no number. But figure out what this number is that we can't use. And the reason we can't use it is because it would make our denominator equal to 0, and that's not allowed in life. Can't have denominator equal to 0. In fact, when we graphed it, we saw that our graph even skips over -4. Like, it's not just the equation itself. Like, the graph, the whole function does not exist at -4. So we have to figure out it's called a restriction. We have to figure out any restrictions with our domain when we divide. Otherwise, add, subtract, multiply, divide, pretty easy, can handle. I asked you after your checkpoint, which I know checkpoint took most of the last period, I asked you after the checkpoint to work on 5 problems. It's like 2 pages away. They're due tomorrow. There are only 5 of them, but it's worth 20 points. Why is it worth so many points? Yes, because each problem has the 4 parts. 5 said it first. You can get the point. So that's why it's going to take you some time. So you'd like for me to stop rambling today so you can get back on this. I get that. I have a little bit of stuff to say today. And if you want to start the next checkpoint, you can. Or if you want to save it till tomorrow, that's going to be fine too. I'm open to either. Let's back up a page. A full page. We see this box that says composition of functions. Let's go there. So today we're going to learn a new sign, but just a new, I guess I call it an operation that we're going to use, although that's really not an operation. Okay, so in the past, you've seen this. And then today you're going to see this. Literally, one is a filled-in circle and one is an open circle, and they mean 2 different things. What does the filled-in circle mean? What operation are we supposed to use when we see that? Thank you, Nick. You can have your point. We're supposed to use multiplication. If we see F times G, you know to do that. Sadly, if we see it like this, they didn't make a mistake. They weren't lazy. They didn't want to color it in. It means something completely different. So first things first today, we've got to pay careful attention. Lord Jesus. Do they want us to multiply, or are they wanting us to do, it's called composition. Function composition. Okay, when I hear the word composition, I think of music. And when I think of composing, I think of how they put lots of parts and lots of rhythms and sections together. And that's what function composition is. We're going to put F and G together. Together as one in a problem. Okay, so math teachers are lazy, as everyone else is in America, it seems, or everyone ever. I don't know what the deal is. But so, why do we use the letter F for function? Yeah, because function starts with F. Literally, it's that deep. Like, we put a lot of thought into it. We tend to always use F because function starts with F. Do we have to use the letter F? No. Are there other letters of the alphabet we can use? Yeah. But we tend to use F, and since G comes after after F, Lord, my alphabet today. Since G comes after F, G is the second most used. Guess what the third most used is? H, F, G, H. We go straight down the alphabet because we're lazy. So anyway, we use F and G so much, especially in composition problems, that we've started calling them the FOG problem. We tend to call it a FOG, the FOG problem. And then if it's written the other way, we call it GOF. Kind of like golf, but without the L. I even wrote the L. It's not supposed to have the L. GOF. G-O-F. That's ugly. G-O-F. GOF. So we're either doing a FOG or a GOF problem today. Now, again, does it have to be FOG and GOF? Can they use other letters of the alphabet? They sure can. The important thing to note is when they use that open circle, that's their way of telling you it's composition. That's the important part. Open circle means composition. But, again, we're lazy, and it tends to be FOG and GOF. Okay, so we're actually 1, 2, and 3 are a little easier. We're going to save those till tomorrow. We'll deal with that tomorrow. Let's go to the back of the next page. Let's talk about how to do a FOG and a GOF problem. Okay, so what's lovely about most things in math is they're commutative, which means they work both ways. So you love that 2 plus 3 is 5 and 3 plus 2 is 5. Isn't that nice? You can do it either way. You love that 6 times 2 is 12 and 2 times 6 is 12. Isn't it nice that you can just do things either way? Yeah, it doesn't work with composition. So fog and golf don't necessarily match. So our answers aren't going to match. They're not supposed to. Okay, so if they want us to find both fog and golf, we're going to go through and find all the fogs, and then we'll go through and find all the golfs. Okay, so they want us to find fog. So f composed with g of x. Now, I don't know who even invented the open circle thing to begin with. To be honest, it's so much easier when they explain what it is. What this means is we want f evaluated at g of x. Okay, so if this problem did not have g of x, if it said f at 3, what would you tell me to do? Okay, so you would say it used to be negative 3 times x, but hey, Miss Compton, you're saying to plug in a 3, so it'd be negative 3 times 3, and we get negative 9, right? We even used to talk about f at cupcake. Everywhere you saw an x, put a cupcake. So the outside letter is f, so we're dealing with f, so it's negative 3x. But they didn't tell us to use x. They told us, hey, plug in g of x inside that x spot. So it used to be negative 3x. Now it's negative 3, 5x minus 6. So literally everywhere inside f that we saw an x, we're plugging in what g is, and g is 5x minus 6. So I took g and I plugged him into f. So you take the inside guy and plug him into the outside guy. So g was 5x minus 6. So everywhere in f that I saw an x, I put 5x minus 6. And of course, I have to do the next step. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Negative 3 times 6 is positive 18. Like, yes, I do need to find that final answer. There is still math to be done. But the main thing is I plugged in g into f. They were composed together, function composition. Okay, if that was bad, I swear the third time's the charm. So just bear with me. Let's do 2 more. Fog. So we're wanting f evaluated at g of x. F composed of g of x. So f is x plus 4. But I want g of x everywhere I see an x. So it's going to be x squared plus 3x minus 10 plus 4. I saw an x. It used to be x plus 4. Everywhere I see an x, I'm replacing it with g of x. G of x just so happens to be x squared plus 3x minus 10. Are there any questions about that? Now, of course, I can go one more step. X squared plus 3x, negative 10 plus 4 is negative 6. And like I'm telling you, third time's the charm. So maybe this last time it'll really click with you. F composed of g of x, so fog. Now this one is a little harder because there are a lot of x's in f. So everywhere in f that I see an x, I'm supposed to put x squared. So it's going to be something squared plus 3 something plus 1. Because it was x squared plus 3x plus 1. But I know what that something is because it tells me it wants g of x. And g of x is x squared. So I'm going to put x squared. So this one was a little harder because I had to plug it in twice because f had 2 different x's. So I had to plug in g 2 different times. And I got to remember my rules of exponents. I'm raising a power, so I multiply. So I'll have x to the 4th plus 3x squared plus 1. Okay, does anyone want to ask me a question about fog? You sure? Okay. Well, then we got to go back to number 1. We did fog. We got to do Goff, because sadly they tend to be two different answers. In fact, we're still going to be talking about this tomorrow, and the only time they match is when there's a certain word that appears, and today that word is not appearing. So G at f of x which was supposed to be Goff. Why did I not write the Goff part? I don't know. So Goff, now the order has changed. So it used to be, when we were doing fog, everywhere inside f that I saw an x, I plugged in G. But now that G's on the outside, it's going to be everywhere in G that I see an x, I'm going to plug in f. So G is 5x minus 6, because he's the outside guy, so 5x minus 6. And everywhere inside him that I see an x, I'm going to plug in that negative 3x. So f is negative 3x. I'm going to plug in that negative 3x here. So if I do 5 times negative 3x, I get negative 15x minus 6. And like I told you, sadly enough, fog and Goff don't necessarily match. While they both are negative 15, one is a plus 18, the other is a minus 6. They did not match. Okay, well, let's Goff number 2. So G composed with f of x, Goff it. So G evaluated at f of x. So G was x squared plus 3x minus 10. Because G's on the outside, so it used to be x squared plus 3x minus 10, but now it's telling me everywhere in G I see an x, I need to plug in f of x. So instead of x squared, I need to have x plus 4 squared. Instead of plus 3x, I need to have plus 3x plus 4. Now this one required me to use parentheses. Why was it super important that I use my parentheses on this problem? Yes, and then what else could go wrong? Yes, and she's going to get 2 points. So Paige explained, hey, and we'll come back to this front part. If I just wrote plus 3x plus 4 and didn't put parentheses, I would only do 3 times x and get 3x. I would not think to do 3 times 4 and get plus 12. So I would have 3x plus 4 instead of 3x plus 12, and I already made a mistake. She is correct about that. That's one of the 2 mistakes that would happen if we didn't use our parentheses. The second mistake she also explained, if we did not put the parentheses around this x plus 4, we would think it would just be 4 squared, which is just 16, so x plus 16. And that's not what it is. It's x plus 4 squared, so we need to actually FOIL that out. Does anyone know what that is FOILed out from their head? X squared plus 8x. Yes, and if you can start doing that in your head, that would be awesome. If you need to write it to the side and actually FOIL it out, x squared plus 4x plus 16 to end up getting the x squared plus 8x plus 16, you can. Man, wouldn't it be cooler if we could start doing this in our head and save us a little time? Okay, well, you and I both know I'm not done. I need to combine those like terms. X squared doesn't have a friend. 8 and 3 is 11. Yes, yes, keep going. I'm not going to write that. Yes. I'll give you another point. Ellie was on it. She just didn't think to do all 3 at once. 16 plus 12 is 28. Minus 10 is the 18. So I was just jumping straight to the 18. You're allowed, Ellie. You're allowed to use one more step. It could have said plus 28 minus 10 and then one more step to do it. No one cares. Okay, but again, our fog answer was x squared plus 3x minus 6. Our golf answer is x squared plus 11x plus 18. These things don't match. So we have to pay attention to the order. So if they ask for f of g of x, so they ask for the fog, we have to make sure we do it in that order. Kylan cannot just willy-nilly this. She's going to end up getting the wrong answer. She's got to pay attention to the order it's asked in. Okay, so we did fog on the last one. Let's do golf. So g composed with f of x. Okay, well g is lovely. It's just x squared. Isn't that lovely? But what stinks is everywhere in g that I saw an x, I'm supposed to put what f is. Well, that stinks because f is this long thing. It's x squared plus 3x plus 1. So I've got this long thing, because that's what f is, squared. And so what looked like the easiest problem of the day is now turned into the most time-consuming. Because now, bless our hearts, we have to do x squared plus 3x plus 1 times x squared plus 3x plus 1. And woe with the distributing we're about to have to keep up with. And you better watch me because I made a mistake last period. So x times x squared is x to the 4th. X squared times 3x, that's 3x to the 3rd. X squared times 1, that's just plus x squared. But again, sad day, I've only distributed the x squared. I now have to go distribute the 3x. 3x times x squared is 3x to the 3rd. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times 1 is plus 3x. But still, sad day, still not done. Because yes, I've distributed the x squared. Yes, I've distributed the 3x, but I gotta go distribute the 1 too. So 1 times x squared is just x squared. 1 times 3x is just 3x. 1 times 1 is just 1. Yay. So again, what I thought was going to be the easiest problem of the day has now turned into a really thing where I had to super distribute, and now I got to combine my like terms, and it just turned out a lot harder than I was anticipating. Okay, when I combine my like terms, I have x to the 4th, and then what to the 3rd? Plus 6x cubed. She can have a point for that. Anyone else want to jump in? Yes, there you go. I'll give 2 and 5 a point. 9, 10, 11. 11x squared. And then she said plus 6x plus 1, and she can have another point. 1 doesn't have a friend. Don't know why I underlined him. Plus 3x and 3x is 6x. She's right on that. And then poor 1 doesn't have a friend. Okay, let's check it, because I'm telling you, when you're hot, you're hot, you're not. X to the 4th didn't have a friend, 1 didn't have a friend. 3 and 3 was 6. X squared, 9, 1. Yep, that's 11. 3 and 3 is 6. Yep, she's right. That's completely correct. Okay, if you were wanting to practice this, because that's not one of your 5, it didn't say you had to practice composition. If you were wanting to get a head start and practice this, because you have your 5 done and you're just on it lately, which is good, if you wanted to, you can go ahead and on the back of what you've been assigned, not this page, but on the back of it, even further back, sorry, not the back of it, the very back page of the whole packet. You can ignore the directions and just fog and golf 4, 5, and 6 to see how your life goes. But you can see that 5 is going to be a pain in the rear because we didn't have any fractions today. But if you're trying to get, you just want to practice and get comfortable, that's not a bad idea. And of course, you could always start the checkpoint today, although I'm not going to make you take it until tomorrow. That's all I got.